Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and my very first YouTube video. Today I'm going to talk about ways I've grown with my plants. So a few days ago, Betsy Begonia posted a video about ways that she's grown alongside her houseplants. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll make sure I try to link it in the description below. You should totally go watch it. It's a really good watch. She sent out a challenge for other people to talk about ways that they've grown alongside their houseplants. So I thought I'd take that challenge. Without further ado, here are 5 ways that I think I've grown alongside my houseplants. The first way that I think I've grown alongside my houseplants is to let go of perfection. When we look at our plants, not everything is always Instagram worthy. There are little imperfections on the leaves, sometimes things don't grow quite the way we want to, and we have to kind of let go of that. Just because a plant is less than perfect doesn't mean it's not healthy or not even a beautiful plant. So I have a problem with perfection. Even putting up this video in the first place is a real challenge for me. I want everything that I do to be as good as possible the first time around. And here I am filming on my phone, probably not the background that I'll end up with, sitting on my floor, and I just have to learn to let go of that perfection. If we want everything to be perfect all the time, sometimes that means we'll never even start in the first place, or we'll give up when things aren't going quite our way. So letting go of perfection in our houseplants and in our lives is a great thing. The second way that I think I've grown alongside my houseplants is to just let things be. So if you couldn't tell from my first point, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I like to work really hard to make sure that things are just the way I want them to be. But when we do that with our houseplants, we're really setting ourselves up to overcare for our plants and to actually sometimes cause more damage than we're causing good. Sometimes we have to take that step back and just let things grow naturally. It's the same way in our everyday lives. Sometimes we want to control all the circumstances around us and do everything we can to make sure that things go the way we want, which isn't always a bad thing, but sometimes we get a little obsessive about it and actually end up causing more harm than good. So take a cue from your houseplants and sometimes take a step back and just let things take their natural course. The third way I think I've grown with my houseplants is in being open to change. So if I reference back to those first couple of points, I tend to want to be perfect the very second that I get a plant. I want to research everything about it and the light that it needs and the watering that it needs. Give me the rarest plant you possibly can, and I want to do it right the first time. But that's not always the way things work. We have to learn, we have to experiment. We maybe move things around to change the light. Sometimes we tend to overwater or underwater for a little while until we get the hang of things. That same principle of being open to change needs to apply to our lives as well. Sometimes we want to go into something and do it right the first time, and that can very often lead to sticking with something that isn't working or not being open to a better idea. So, point number 3, be open to changing. The fourth thing that I've learned from keeping houseplants is to be present. I'm stealing this one a little bit from Betsy herself, but it's really true. If you couldn't tell already from this video, I tend to be really a hard worker, type A personality, busy all the time, and very often multitasking. And what plants force you to do is to actually be present and to be with each plant. As I water, I like to go through the plant, look for signs of things that are happening. Maybe it needs some different care, some different light, looking out for pests, things like that. And it's really forced me in my everyday life to slow down as well. So when I'm doing things like walking my dog Loki or just basically around the town anywhere, it's giving me this opportunity to slow down and to notice all of the things around me. And it really has given me a better quality of life. And the fifth way that I've grown alongside my houseplants is to enjoy the process of the growth. It takes quite a bit of patience to grow a plant from a very small cutting into a large plant. And sometimes we get a little bit impatient. And that goes back to that overcare. Sometimes we want to fertilize or change things. And we really have to learn to stop and be content with the process of growth. And what we're giving to our houseplants, really we should be giving to ourselves as well. Sometimes we want to jump ahead to that next thing in life. I know I have a tendency to do that, to want to be the person that I hope that I am 5 years from now, and I want to speed up that process without enjoying the process of watching the little leaves grow, the little moments of growth in my life. So those are my 5 ways that I think I've grown alongside my houseplants. I'd like to thank Betsy Begonia for posting this video and for sending out a challenge to just generally anybody who wanted to film it. I'd like to pass the challenge on to a couple of other people. I'd like to challenge Jolene Foliage, who's another great YouTube channel, and she's really been another inspiring force in starting my channel. I'd like to challenge Harley G, who is kind of my next door neighbor. I'm in Colorado, she's in Utah, so I thought I'd send out a friendly neighborly challenge. And I'd like to challenge Kaylee Ellen, who is one of my all-time favorite plant YouTubers, plantertainers, whatever you'd like to call it. I'd really like to hear her thoughts on this as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to stop by my YouTube channel to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any other ideas for my next video, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'll see you next time.